Hello, cooking enthusiasts. In today's video, we're going to be discussing another cultured dairy product that I'm pretty sure I invented, Parmigiano-Cultured butter. If you're lucky enough to have access to fresh, unpasteurized cream, it's extremely easy to culture it into essentially creme fraiche and then into cultured butter. However, many recipes online use store-bought pasteurized cream with the addition of store-bought cultured buttermilk. But, as I mentioned in my creme fraiche video, I'm not a huge fan of the flavors I've tasted from most buttermilk cultured products. So I wanted to see if I could use something like real Parmesan cheese to culture the cream instead. Now, a little safety disclaimer. If you want to do this in a more traditional manner, you could actually buy the bacterial cultures online that would be used for making a Parmesan-style cheese from scratch. However, to save money and just to see if I could, I opted to use a store-bought piece of Parmigiano Reggiano as my starter culture. I wasn't even entirely sure if an aged cheese would work as a starter culture, but apparently it does, at least in this instance. I grated a relatively small amount of Parmesan and Parmesan rind into a jar and added cream and 1% salt. To ensure that I got flavor from an active culture and not just cheese melting into the cream, I used a relatively small amount of Parmesan with only a cup or two of cream at first. Once it had incubated in my circulator at 43 degrees Celsius for 24 hours, I could definitely tell the smell and texture had changed. I then took this small amount of cultured cream and added additional cream and salt at 1% by weight and continued to incubate it for an additional 24 hours. The cream almost visibly sets and can have a very strong cheese aroma. Once this larger amount of cream had fermented, I refrigerated it thoroughly before churning into butter. Whatever device you use for this process, make sure there is adequate splash protection for when the butter breaks. Obviously, this is a very experimental procedure and results vary, but the butter that you get is definitely salty, of course, and has a savory, cheesy, funky flavor, although it's not extremely intense. Once the butter breaks, just do a preliminary strain of the butter from the buttermilk and save both, of course. The butter will last maybe a week or two in the fridge, but it is very delicious, so you should be able to eat it before it goes bad. The Parmesan cultured buttermilk also has its own uses. I have successfully made a second batch of cultured butter using the previous batch's buttermilk as the culture, although you can just start from scratch with the real Parmesan cheese if you prefer. Either way, you always want to culture the cream in at least 2 stages so you give the culture a gradual time to grow. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll likely be using the Parmesan butter in future recipes, so if you try out this procedure, please let me know, and let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, thank you for watching.